You cannot be serious!
Are you not entertained?
Okay. Welcome. Sorry, hesitated there. Welcome to the first episode of JT Talks or JT Tennis Talks, whichever you want to go with. Also, let's do it again. If anyone wants to pick me up on how many ums I do in every podcast episode, just make sure you remind me of it because I'm trying to say it less. I think I just did it again. Okay. Episode 1. This is just going to be a very short episode. I said again. Basically, just introducing the show, what it's going to be about. That's it again. Basically, as you guys, well, the ones who have seen my YouTube videos and a lot of the content that I've put on Instagram or on TikTok or on YouTube Shorts, I'm trying to really push this agenda of making tennis a little bit more fun, creating the awareness that we aren't all robots that just are boring, I'll say. Yeah, that we can have some fun, trying to introduce the culture of playing different fun games and how that can help you with your tennis. I think, generally speaking, or just across the board, I've come across a lot of parents, come across a lot of people who are fans of tennis that seem to just think it's all about just being 100% serious every second of every day, not being very friendly. And just not realizing how much goes on behind the scenes, how much a lot of players, blow off steam in their own different ways. So trying to build this awareness around the lighter side of tennis. I think there's enough people on social media and probably in person who will push how serious tennis needs to be and how serious you or your kids need to be about tennis. So I'm taking the approach of making it a little bit more fun and a little bit more lighthearted, something that you want to be a part of, not because you wholeheartedly believe that you are going to be the best tennis player in the world, but maybe just because you enjoy all the other aspects about being a tennis player. Anyway, I've rambled on enough, but basically this podcast will almost got away. Did it again. We'll be around the same thing. So the JT Tennis channel itself is not discontinuing. I'll still be posting there. I'll still be trying to make it fun, entertaining tennis content. This is just to connect my audience a little bit more, to connect with a lot of my friends in tennis, to connect those people with others. So trying to build a little community around tennis and around this brand of tennis, this style, well, not style, but like the fun side of tennis. So yeah, that's really what I'm trying to get with this podcast. Also to try and bring you guys regular content that I don't need to spend too much time or too much an investment on. I like uploading, I like making these videos, but I do actually coach full time. So my time is fairly limited to be coming up with the quality that I have made my standard, I suppose. Anyway, moving on. So earlier today, this episode kind of introduction to me and just the show itself. So earlier on, I played a game around the theme of introducing myself. So I'll play that clip of the game right now, and hopefully you enjoy it. Okay, what's up, guys? In the spirit of introducing myself, I have set up a little game. So, how it goes, I'm 28 years old, so I've got 28 serves to try and hit that cone. Every time I miss the target, I tell you a fact about me. So I have 28 facts. I have randomly shuffled the facts. But yes, every time I hit a serve and it doesn't hit that target, I tell you a fact about myself. They're a mixture of some embarrassing facts that I prefer people to not know and some just general facts about myself. Anyway, with that being said, I'll get into it. I haven't had any warm-up serves or anything, so let's get into it. Okay, the first fact is fact number 3, and that is basically that I have always wanted to be a one-handed backhand, including right now. I always just thought I'd probably be a better player as a one-hander, and I'm all about the style, I'm all about looking good, so I reckon the one-hander looks better than the two-hander. Alright, moving on to the next serve. Nope, I've missed that as well. The very next fact is fact number 7. Probably don't really need to call out what number they are. But I've played tennis in 7 different countries, both to play competitively and both to just sort of train and have a bit of a training block. All right, on to the next serve. Okay, again, let's try and hit something. And I've missed again. The next fact is my longest losing streak to the same opponent is 8-0. Obviously 8-0, 8 times in a row. This is including both singles and doubles, but a majority of those matches were singles, and I'm not going to name who the player is. I do hope I hit this soon, revealing too much information about myself. Alright, missed it again. My highest Australian ranking was 113. Isn't as good as I would have liked, but in that year, I probably only played 13 or 14 tournaments in that year, so I did pretty well considering how little tennis I actually played. Just over it. I've had 5 private coaches in my time in tennis. My second coach was my longest term coach. I had him for 7.5 years. That's the first one in the net. Yeah, back whenever it was, for the 2.5 years that I'd quit tennis, I was actually a gym rat. I was in the gym pretty much every day, or at least 5 days of the week, just trying to get massive. Didn't really work. Oh, it's the second one in the net. I used to cry whenever I lost a match. I think the last time I remember crying after a loss was when I was early 11, so I probably just turned 11. That was probably the last time I remember crying after losing a match. I wasn't overly competitive or a sore loser, but I was a little bit disgusted with myself. Not because of the fact that I lost, I was more than happy losing to people that I knew I probably should have lost to, but sometimes there's those opponents that sort of just felt a little disgusted with myself and ended up crying. Come on, Josh, hit the cone. Nah. Probably a waste of a fact since I already answered a later question on it. I quit tennis for 2.5 years. I was 17.5 and I didn't play again until I was 20. If I miss all 28, I won't feel very good about myself. I'm pretty sure that was dead on. So the very next fact, which probably something I shouldn't be revealing, I have intentionally hooked, so for those of you who aren't Aussie, I've intentionally cheated 3 times in my life. I felt horrible about them, but each situation was sort of justified by a couple of things. My opponent was just the most horrible person in the world, so making this call at the time felt like the right thing to do. The most tournaments I have played in a calendar year is 17, and this was when I was 15 years old. A little bit of nostalgia. The very first tennis club I ever played at and represented was Endeavour Hills Tennis Club, just a small club in the southeast suburbs here in Melbourne. Missed that as well. A couple stray dogs that I've never seen before. Okay, the next fact that I have is, I can't remember what it was. I remember what the fact was. Okay, my number 1 goal in tennis since I was 12 years old, it wasn't to reach any particular ranking, it wasn't to beat any particular player. My number 1 goal in tennis was to hit the biggest forehand ever recorded in history. Pretty bland goal, but for me, I thought it was pretty fun. Oh my goodness. When I was younger, I used to complain to my parents if my shorts weren't at least down to my knees. I just thought it looked a little bit girly if my shorts were up higher than my knees. Buying shorts that were like probably 3 sizes too big for me just so they'd hang lower, so. And I've missed that too. I own close to 30 rackets. So between the rackets I have in my bag and the rackets that I have just sitting at home or at my mum's place, There's probably around 30 all up. He's not the one. I have won 12 tournaments in my entire life, which isn't many. So anyway. I'm always getting further from the target. Boring one. My favorite player of all time is Roger Federer. Oh, that would have gotten it, I reckon. Don't judge me. I used to say when I was younger, if I ever got to a Grand Slam final and played Federer, that I would let him win, because I just never liked seeing Federer lose, or never liked knowing that Federer lost. The best doubles partner that I have played with, if we're going strictly off win-loss ratio or win-loss percentage, is, and I will name him, Michael Shepherd. Shout out to you, mate. We played only 2 tournaments together and we made 2 semi-finals together. So I think that's pretty good. I'm never gonna get that cone in this straight. This is pretty embarrassing. There is a Japanese anime called The Prince of Tennis. I used to try and experiment to see if I could pull off any of the shots they play in their game. Not any of the ridiculously ridiculous shots that they played, but a handful of ones that I thought might be doable. I used to try and attempt them. The other camera might not have seen it because it's on the wrong angle, but that's jumped over the cone. Straight in line, over it. I met my fiance through tennis. Her brother played tennis with my older brother. Her dad was really good friends with my coach at the time, and then yeah, sort of met her through that way. Okay, that serve was better than the cone. Should count for something. Topspin 4, the PlayStation game, was my favorite ever tennis game. I played a lot of Virtua Tennis before Topspin, but Topspin 4 takes the cake. My favorite surface to play on is the European clay. I'm not against every other surface, but I've sort of played my best tennis on the European clay. So back in Spain when I was 16, I had a very good run in a few matches, and the last couple of times I've gone over to Austria and Germany to play club tennis over there. I've had some pretty good results there as well, and they're all on European clay. Better than on hard court and better than on grass. Yeah, that's my best surface. Missed again. Probably not something that I should be sharing with the whole world, including the kids that I coach. Once upon a time, and it wasn't overly long ago, I once played a string of 12 matches and I tanked 9 of those matches. The 3 that I won were just ridiculously easy, but yeah, the other 9, again, I'm not too proud of. I tanked those 9 matches. Missed again. It's a little bit weird. I'm not sure how many other people would have done this. I'm guessing not too many. When I was younger, if I knew who I was going to play the very next round, I would watch a lot of YouTube clips of professional players whose style I thought would suit the opponent that I was going to come up against. And I guess my intention was that watching the highlights and clips of these players, that I would like absorb their style into my own game, sort of thing. Weird way of thinking, but yeah, that was my approach to playing against players that I thought needed a specific strategy or style of play in order to beat them. That was terrible. Again, something I probably shouldn't be announcing. Nowhere near as bad as a lot of other people, but I've received a total of 5 code violations in my time playing. 3 of them were in open AMT tournaments, Australian money tournaments, and 2 of them were in futures events. One of them wasn't my fault. Once upon a time, I started doing homeschooling in order to play more tennis. What ended up happening though, was I actually played less tennis. So I decided to go back to school and not play tennis. This was the period where I quit. Missed again. Second last fact is, I played in 2 Australian Open Juniors qualies draws. I didn't qualify for either of those, I just got into qualies. Not as good as I would have liked. And the last fact is I've been a hitting partner for the Australian Open for the last 6 Australian Opens. And that's it. That's 28 facts about me. Let's show you the ball marks of some of the closer ones. So, as you can see, the serve, not my best shot. Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that game. As you can see, the serve is not my money maker. But yeah, 28 facts about me and my time in tennis. Some were interesting, some not so much. They're just 28 general facts about this 20-year-old tennis coach. But yeah, anyway, let's move on. Okay, like I said, this episode is going to be pretty short. So, something that I will cover on this show, I did it again, cover on this show would be covering any relevant tennis news. It'll mostly be just big news around a lot of the best players in the world. But if there are any Aussies that are doing particularly well, any friends of mine that are doing pretty well that are going a little bit unnoticed, I'll give them a bit of a shout out here. Um, yeah, so first episode would be a friend of mine, Matthew Romios. I believe took out the doubles with doubles partner, also Australian Brandon Walken. So shout out to them. Rom might have actually, I don't know, so I won't say anything that I don't know. But yes, they took out the doubles in the tournament they played over the last week. And on more news, this weekend, State Grade in Victoria is back. If you don't know what State Grade is, it is the highest level of team competition played in Victoria outside of Premier League. Premier League is played at the end of the year through November, and this is where they get a lot of A-list players that are playing wildcard playoffs or Oz Open qualies or a few of the events leading into Oz Open. So the standard is very good, but it only lasts for a short period. State Grade is the highest level of team competition that is run throughout winter. So starting this weekend, and it's been absent. It hasn't been a grade available in pennant since, from my memory, from 2011, from a couple other people's memories, 2009. So it's been gone for a while, and we finally got it back for this year. So I want to try and build some awareness around that, get everyone around it. If if your club is one of the teams competing in State Grade in the men's or women's, and if you've got time, go on down, support, watch some quality tennis. You might see me. If you want to support my club, North Ringwood. Yeah. So looking forward to that. As a retired player, not that I was ever really that great of a player, it's good to have high level tennis available to me at least once a week or in the mix of all the coaching stuff that I do for the rest of my life. So yeah, I'm looking forward to State Grade, looking forward to competing with boys at North Ringwood. And yeah, looking forward to what this means for team tennis in Australia. Maybe I won't say any more of that. Maybe it could be the beginning of something big coming down the track. But sorry, I've had a couple of ums. But anyway, moving on. So yeah, that's the tennis news for now. Nothing much. Madrid is still currently being played. The next little bit is check out, or this is for my benefit, check out jttennis.com. I've got a bunch of t-shirts and hoodie designs on there. They're quirky. They're nothing flash. They're just quirky things that I think tennis players would understand or appreciate. Check out jttennis.com. If you like anything there, feel free to purchase. Yeah, there's another one. I want to keep this as a line of communication for everyone. So if you want to comment on this video, or if you want to DM me on Instagram on JT Tennis, just do it. Just if you got a question for me, or if you've got a story that you want to share, if you want to shout out for whatever reason, just DM, comment, and yeah, just do it. Just try get in touch with me. Yeah, there's another one. I will try to get back to everyone that I can, but yeah, just feel free to communicate. Anyway, something that you guys can look forward to or to be ready for is the amount of guests that I'm going to have on this show. Like I said, I want to try and build a little community uh, with tennis and get as many people involved as I can. So, yeah, I'll be bringing on a lot of guests. They'll be telling some stories. They'll be giving some coaching tips. They'll be just playing some games with me. Kind of like the serving game I just played. Maybe some things a little bit more fun and things that I'm actually good at. But yeah, that's what's to come. Anyway, thanks for tuning in for this first episode. Don't forget, this weekend State Grade is beginning. Get around it. If your club is playing and you've got some free time, head down to one of the clubs and watch State Grade live. Watch the State Grade players in action. Sorry, I'm not the best speaker. Anyway, yeah, thanks for tuning into this first episode, and I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
You cannot be serious!
Are you not entertained?